Hey guys, Matthew here. So today I'll be bringing you a quick little video on a quote-unquote secret that most of the efficient players actually use to maximize the kind of currency they can make with the chaos recipe. If you ask most of the fast guys who get to map super fast and farm a bunch and stuff, all the streamers and stuff, they don't really care too much about the chaos recipe because it's just not worth it, right? It takes too much time for what you get out of it. I personally think that's actually not true at all, and I think Chaos Recipe is really good, but only in the very, very early stage of a league. I'm talking the first day. If the exalt prices stay relatively low, maybe up to the second day, but this is mostly for the first 24 to 36 hours of a new league, where exalts are very, very cheap and chaos is extremely, extremely valuable. Because whenever, at the end of the first week, when exalts are already over 100 chaos each, it simply doesn't matter anymore. But if you can get some exalts for, say, 30, 40, maybe even 50 chaos per on the first day or the second day, chaos recipe can be super, super good if you can be efficient at it. And today I'll be showing you exactly how to be efficient at it. It's pretty simple. It's going to look like this. Do you need a quad stashtab to do this? No, you could do it with multiple single stashtabs. It might even be easier because you would see a little bit easier because you do have to be precise on your clicks if you don't want to mess up your thing and take out some scrolls of wisdoms and whatever. So the idea behind it is that you want to separate your tab from the smallest possible item to the biggest possible item in every slot that you need to make a chaos recipe. For example, as you can see, I have multiple one space slots. Those are for the rings and amulets. Then I have some 2 space slots over here, which would be for my belts. Then I have some 2x2 space slots, which are either for the helmets, gloves, or boots. Then I have some 3x1 space slots, which is for what I personally show on my filter, which is the 3x1 weapons. If you're going to do the chaos recipe and you want to be efficient with it, you only want to pick up small weapons. You don't want to be picking these, 2x4 mauls and stuff like that, which fill up your inventory with just a few items. The only exception to this would probably be, for example, if you're playing like a bow build and you really need a certain bow, then maybe you're going to want to pick up bows to identify them. But it's only to upgrade for yourself. But if you want to go maximum efficiency, I think 1x3 weapons are by far the best. And then finally, I'm going to have my slot for chest pieces. And at the end, I personally made a little bit of a wiggle for some 1x1s, extra ones for more amulets or rings, which is probably never going to be used considering how rare these are compared to every other slot. For example, chest pieces. So why do we do this? Well, it's simple. If you go to any map and you kill out everything and whatever, pick up all your rares, you're going to end up with tons and tons of chest armors, tons and tons of really big weapons, a very, very tiny amount of amulets, an okay amount of rings and belts, pretty rare, and a pretty decent amount of, boots, gloves, and helmets. But the problem with that is that you need one of each item to make chaos, with the chaos recipe. So if you end up, doing this without a setup like that, for example, with just a regular quad stashtab or stashtab, whatever it is, and you just throw everything in there at the end whenever you're done playing or you fill up your stash, you're going to be like, okay, so I need 2 rings, so I'm going to take this one here and this one here. Then I need a helmet, okay. Then I need like some weapon maybe. Oh wait, that doesn't work. Maybe I need a bow and then a quiver or whatever it is, right? It's just simply not efficient at all. You're losing so much time which you could be using to kill things. While by doing something like this, the moment your chest pieces slots get full, you have 6 of them, then you just stop picking up chest pieces. Unless you're trying to get an upgrade for yourself or something like that. But otherwise, just stop picking up, just stop picking them up because you don't need them anymore. Say, for example, you've all the belts picked up, which is probably not going to happen considering how rare belts are compared to other things. But say, you've all your belts picked up, then maybe you just stop picking up belts. I personally wouldn't advocate that because I think belts are pretty valuable. Then same thing for your weapons. I personally never really look at the stats on any weapons because the rolls you can roll in sub-level, 75 zones are so low let's say on the fizz or even the flat elemental or whatever it is, the rolls are so low that chances are that you'll never get a really good item. So I think it's personally a waste of time. The only thing I personally care for are boots, gloves, helmets, rings and amulets, and belts. Because they're small, and you know, on the first day of a league, say you get a pair of boots with like 30% movement speed, like 90 resistances and like 50 life, that thing is going to sell instantly for like 20, 30 chaos, which is all like half of an exalt at that point, which is big. So I personally go for, you know, gloves, boots, helmets, rings, amulets, and belts, like I said. The rest of it, I'm not even going to identify because it's a waste of time. So I'm going to show it in action. Basically, I made a simulation where, for example, if I came to my stash, I just came out of map, and this is what I picked up in terms of rare, right? With this kind of stash tab, I just, you know, control click everything. And as you can see, it goes in very specific slots, which is amazing. So now I know that I have an amulet, right? I have 2 rings, I have a belt, I have some gloves, a helmet, some boots, 2 weapons, and a chest piece. There you go. That's a chaos, right? And now I have 2 chess pieces remaining. So if I go to another map and I pick up, say, 3 chess pieces, and I fill in this, this, and that, the next map I go in, I know that I only have to pick up at most 1 chess piece or completely ignore chess pieces to be able to pick up more, say, gloves, boots, and helms, because that's what I need the most to actually do my chaos recipes, right? So that way, you basically only ever pick up the things you need, and you don't pick up what you don't need, which is really important when it comes to being efficient with a chaos recipe. So obviously it's a little bit of micromanagement. Setting this thing up can take, you know, maybe 10-15 minutes at the start of a league. I personally would not recommend doing it with Scrolls of Wisdom. I just had it done with those, so I kept it like that. But I would personally do it with something that you're not going to use very often and that are not expensive. For example, transmutes would be really good for this because you never really use transmutes unless you're like crafting something, but then you're going to take it directly from your tab. Otherwise, you're never going to buy anything from a vendor for transmutes. Alterations are valuable. You can use chance orbs because, you know, they're not that valuable or rare. Early in a league, they're super like dirt cheap, and you're never going to use chance orbs either unless you're chancing something, which means that you're going to take them directly from your tab, so they're not going to be taken from the other one. Or if you're buying, you know, say a steel gem or whatever, it's only going to take 1, so it's not the end of the world. Which is probably the 2 best picks. I'd go transmutations or chance orbs. Everything else, the thing is, you kind of use a lot of, or it's valuable, so you don't want to be, you know, wasting over 100 to set up the tab. So that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a little something. Let me know in the comments if you guys are actually using this, or if you actually thought about this but didn't know too much how to set it up, or if you're actually going to use this next league, or just run it in flashback, and let me know how it goes and how much currency you can actually make versus, you know, the typical dump everything in a tab and just, you know, come out later and search every item one by one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one.